Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here and welcome to my second Doctor Who Season 1 review, which is, well, excluding the pilot of course. And today we will be looking at the Daleks, the very first Dalek story of the show, and it's only the second story in the entire show history. How crazy, how amazing is it that the first story to introduce the most popular, most notable and most famous Doctor Who villains / enemies / aliens is the second story. I mean, granted, I don't think it should have been the first one. The first one we needed an unearthly child. We needed the first episode, so we couldn't have the greatest enemies of all time in the very first story. However, being the second story, wow, that was so good. So the plot sees the Doctor and his companions arrive on a petrified forest. I must admit, the previous couple of times I've seen episode 1, I found it very boring. However, on a rewatch, it was actually quite interesting in places. I do think it is a bit slow. It does have a lot of building up to do, but it does it well. The remaining episodes, again, I thought 5 and 6 were a bit slow and uninteresting beforehand, but I think it might even been the viewing before the last one. They were actually very good. They were probably they were a bit slow, but were still very good. And of course we get introduced to the deadly Daleks in the second episode. We do see a sink plunger at the end of episode 1, but not start of episode 2. In episode 2 we get to see them properly. Amazing. 6 episodes into the show and the Daleks make their first appearance. Amazing. And it's a very good introduction. It introduces them as a threat and a menace. Pretty creepy. And the story with them holding the Doctor and his companions for a bit, and then them escaping and helping the Files. It's very good. I don't know if it needed to be 7 episodes, but it is still a very good one. I think maybe having a 7-parter this early on is a bit jarring. I think Marco Polo also being 7 parts is a bit jarring, but we'll get to that. I think a 7-parter should have come a bit later on. I think they should have gone with 5 or 6 this early on in the show. I think maybe after halfway through the series they could have gone with a 7-parter, but early on I think they just needed to keep the audiences in. But I think 7's a bit too much. But it is still a very interesting story, and the characters are well done. The Doctor and his companions, they're developing across the story. The Files are well done, apart from the female File, who just comes off as a bit of a grumpy teenager. Or at least that's how she's supposed to be portrayed. Also, 1960s writing says that women weren't very well written in the day, so I don't think this one was very well written. It's Dion. It's the one called starting with a D. But she's not a very well written character. Yeah, I think she's better in the film adaptation. And also, there's a moment in this episode where she and one of the men, they're just talking about how he let Ian take, and then he just had to go over and punch him for it, despite being a peaceful race. Ian supposedly taking, I'm going to call her D, taking D away. And the guy just felt angry. I think it was Aladon. He just felt angry and so punched Ian. A pretty fake punch, in a way. I think they could have handled that a bit better. So, and then they just talk about it for about 30 seconds. I don't care, just get on with it. I don't really, I don't know why they had to stop the episode for 30 to 60 seconds for them to say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, but I knew he was trying to get me angry, but I just couldn't help it. I don't know why they had to do that. Just get on with it. I think they do this in other times as well. Just characters talking about stuff for a couple seconds that don't really make sense. Another thing that bugs me, and this is a little bit worse later on, it's characters turning to face the camera or to the side of the camera and talking to characters behind them. And this is the worst case scenario is in the Aztecs. I'll get to that, but I don't think it's as bad here. I just wanted to get out of the way. But I don't even know if it is in this one. I think it's a little bit in An Earthly Child, but not so much. It's worse in the Aztecs. But this one is, yeah, it's a pretty good story, and the Dalek menace is very well felt here, without them having to go full-scale Dalek-y just yet. I think the signs of them being space Nazis is very clear in this story, without them having to go over the top like they do in either later stories or in expanded media, such as Big Finish or the books. Okay, I'm not so sure about the books, or in maybe their Dalek annual stories, when they're being the conquerors of the universe. So I don't think it's as well present that they're space Nazis in this one, but you get the sense of, you get the feel, you can make the connection, and then once they are able to leave their city and travel across space and time, is when they become the conquerors of the universe, as we'll see in later Dalek stories. Not so much with Dalek Invasion of Earth, although they do become the conquerors of Earth, but across space and time as well. And I think that's mostly seen in Master Plan in Season 3. And then again in the John Pertwee era. So, yeah. And then by the time Destiny, Resurrection of the Daleks come around, they've started to become the dominant force. So, yeah, this was a very good start for the Daleks, and I think the characters were very well done. And the story is a pretty interesting one. Whether you can stick around for 7 episodes that's your choice, but personally I think it's a well done episode. Again, I think it could have been 6, but oh well. That first one could have been a bit faster paced though. But overall, it's a very good story, and yeah. The way the Daleks were defeated was a bit tacked on. I think the problem with these 7-parters is that they have a lot of stuff going on at the start, but once you get towards the end, it starts to be a bit more rushed. And this is the same with Marco Polo. It just feels like there's so much going on in the first couple of episodes, but it's at a slower pace, and then the remaining episodes, it's a bit more fast-paced, and quite a lot is being done like that, as opposed to being like... So, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's not as badly affected in either of the Daleks or the John Pertwee 3 7-parters, but still. Overall, for Daleks, I give it a 8 out of 10. Now, the reason it's an 8 is because it does feel a bit slow, and some places feel a bit draggy. But in the end, it's still a very good story, and definitely a great start for the Daleks. Anyway, so that was the Daleks. Next time, we will be looking at The Edge of Destruction, the third and final of the beginning stories. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nick Payne Extra YouTube channel. And I think this is the same with Marco Polo, and in fact also with the sixth part of the Keys and Marinus. Actually, maybe not so much. Okay.